So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Today we're going to talk about 10 things iPhones still do better than Android devices here in 2022. Now the first one is going to be faster chipset. So you can see we're on the A15 Bionic. We will be on the next edition of the Bionic chip here coming up in September, maybe even the M series, we'll have to see. But just overall faster performance generally day to day. You never really see any lags or stutters here on the iPhone, especially any of the 13 series. The most I've ever experienced the entire year is simply an app crash from time to time. Sometimes an app would hang, but it wasn't really the phone's fault. It's kind of like the app would just crash. So there is certain things that, happen like that, but never really any actual iPhone performance issues. So it just still does that better. I haven't found any Android phone to feel quite as fast. They're still quick and really good animations, but this one, the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, just absolute blazing fast performance. The next one is the ridiculously smooth feel. This only applies to ProMotion device iPhones. So definitely you have to have ProMotion for this one. I just haven't found a phone that just feels smoother than the ProMotion iPhone. Now, even phones like the S21 FE have, 120 hertz displays, the Galaxy A53. There's, Pixel devices with the 120 hertz display, the Pixel 6 Pro. There is plenty on the market with super smooth displays as well. But when you tie together the iOS experience being proprietary along with Apple's own hardware and chip, it's just hard to beat the smooth factor. And everybody knew once Apple put ProMotion, it was going to be the smoothest phone out there, and it actually came true. So I haven't found any phone to feel smoother than the 120 hertz. And I've tested a lot of phones on the iPhone over here. Some people are going to say, well, it's not a true 120 hertz. Well, that's okay. It's still the smoothest feeling phone I felt all year. I've literally tried many phones, and I still come back to this one and am shocked how smooth it just feels day to day. So just butter on the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max specifically with their ProMotion panels. The next one is that the iPhone is still incredibly simple to use, whether you're using the 13 mini, the iPhone 13 Max, whatever it is. They're just very simple to use. Like, they have an app library, a grid of icons, and you could add widgets on the screen. So there's not much to learn. I think the average person can pretty much get it. And I've been seeing people from all age ranges using these phones these days. So iPhone still holds that easier to use factor. You don't have to dig through multiple menus to kind of figure out how to use stuff. Now, has iPhone got more features than it used to have? Yes, it's not quite as simple as it used to be, but it's still simple enough that you don't have to dig around. Whereas I think you have to go through a little bit more menus and learn a little bit more about, how to use Android to make it actually work the way you want it to. So I find that there's still just a little bit more digging around into the Android OS versus iOS. So still the easy to use factor is still here, I think, on iOS, even though they've added all these features. The next one is related to software updates. Now, Android manufacturers definitely have been taking this very seriously. Samsung promising many years of updates, as well as even phones like the Pixel 6a promising 5 years security, 3 years major. So a lot of great improvements to the Android side, but still, Apple still gets it out to their phones quickly. It's still the king of this area, and the reason why is because these updates come to Apple phones at the same time around the globe. So they're still the king at receiving OTA updates, and you can even run betas and stuff like that. So overall, it's still hard. I haven't even updated this 15.6 because I wanted to show this in this video, but you can see anytime an update comes out, it's there, and you can even put on automatic updates just like a computer, so it'll update overnight, no problem. So it's hard to, say that any other phone is doing better in this area, because they're really not. Apple is still doing this better even in 2022, several years later. I feel like I've been talking about this for several years, still waiting for Android phones to be just as efficient, but I don't know if that'll ever happen just due to the fragmentation and how many scattered different brands there are and all that stuff. The next one I have to say is that Apple is the battery king here when it comes to, just getting the most out of a smaller battery. So you cannot get the same battery life on an Android phone with the same size kind of battery. So the 13 Pro, for example, can get better battery life than some Android phones with 4,500 milliamp hour batteries. This is only in the threes, and that's due to the efficiency of the proprietary iOS system on here, just kind of optimizing it, the efficiency of the A series chips in-house. Apple just really knows how to make the battery life pretty good here, even though it's not the largest one on the market. So definitely, I gotta say, battery is still something Apple does a lot better than a lot of competing phones out there. I will say there are Android phones that can top this, so usually mid-rangers that are not as fast. You know, they have huge batteries, but they're slower because they're not really using much juice. Or a Android phone that's flagship grade but has a massive size increase over something like a 13 Pro. Other than that, without stuffing so much hardware in there, pound for pound, battery size for battery size, the iPhone's going to win every time. Also has really good standby time by comparison to an Android device. So definitely really like the battery life on the current iPhones. They're really good. And I think Apple still does this area better. Number 6 is gestures. So we do have smoother gestures, I find, on the iPhone than other phones. And this is something I take a look at on newer Android phones. And it's just kind of this, the overall experience has been polished a little bit more, and animations too. I don't want to just talk about gestures, animations too. This area has gotten good, but Apple was the one who kind of started this with their, iPhone 10. You're doing the gestures over here, or at least mainstream, and you could see that it's just butter smooth. And I haven't found a single phone maker to kind of beat them in this area. There's just a little bit of a hang, a little bit of a chop in a lot of phones, and it's not all the time, but it's just not as consistent. So that consistency is just not there with the gestures and animations like it is on an iPhone. So definitely this is an area that I've noticed over a year of using this, how iPhone still does it better. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for the smoothest animations, you're going to find that here as well. And security is generally better for iPhone as well, with the world-class Face ID system. In addition to that, due to Apple's closed system where you basically only have iOS and you can't really sideload unless you do some jailbreaking, which 99% of people aren't going to do because it's just ridiculously hard. And why would they? The iPhone already has millions of apps, millions of things to do. So it's just a really secure system. And the minute bugs come out, as a matter of fact, I'm going to update to this right after, because 15.6 patched like 35 bugs, security bugs actually. So I'm not going to use the 13 Pro until I put this 15.6 on, but I want to keep it for the video. Just the security. You can see they're always pushing out security updates. The immense focus on patching bugs and making sure their system stays tight, closed, and secure. And even the, watching what app developers do too, letting you know what they're collecting and all that, asking you not to track. There's just a lot going on here, and I just really like the overall, system. Like you can see, for example, TikTok, if we scroll down, this type of stuff, just showing you what is collecting, all this front and center. It just feels like a much more secure system. Also, not a lot of advertisements coming your way. You do get some, but you can turn it off in settings. Not kind of not the same though as the Google experience, where you'll see a lot of personalized ads just showing exactly. It kind of can feel creepy sometimes, showing you exactly what you were searching. You can turn that off again in Android, but a lot of people don't know that. It just feels like a more private, secure system here. I still think iPhone does this a little bit better than Android, because most people are not going to know how to tweak all those settings right out of the gate with an Android, whereas with an iPhone, kind of just feels a little bit more private right out of the box, even if you don't tweak anything. And number 8 is, this phone is the accessibility king. So there's just so many more accessibility features in here, and really good ones have you. This is an area Apple really focus on. They even talk about it in some of their press conferences. But yeah, a lot of great security, a lot of great accessibility features on this phone. So definitely, if you're looking for a ton of great accessibility, like motion, back tap, you have display and text size, you have touch, you have these, all kinds. It just keeps going. So definitely, if you're into accessibility features, iPhone is where it's at. Number 9 is the way it matches up with a Mac computer. Now, if you don't have a Mac computer, that's fine. But all I'm trying to say is that I've tried this year to match up Samsung with the Windows experience, and it's cool, but it still doesn't feel quite as cohesive. Yeah, I've matched up the Samsung tablet with the Samsung phone, but that also feels like we're still in Android land. When we're talking about a pure computer experience, the Mac and the iPhone just work in perfect harmony. So I still haven't found a computer that goes perfectly with the phones just yet the way iPhone goes with a Mac. It just got the FaceTime, it's got the iMessage, the Notes, AirDrop, all that stuff just works in perfect harmony. So if you're into having a laptop and just a phone, the Mac and this iPhone are a really good combo. You'll really like that. And the last one is iPhone is just more consistent. Android is just all over the place. Honestly, there's all kinds of different brands, all kinds of different sizes, makes, you know, different software features. I mean, I could teach you one thing on a Samsung phone, but if you're using a different brand, it might not even apply to you. If I'm teaching you something about the Google Pixel 6a, you have a Samsung, it doesn't apply to you. So it's just all over. Whereas if you have an iPhone 13 Pro, if I talk about something here, you'll know what I'm talking about on the 13 mini, or if I'm talking about the 13 Pro Max, likely you're going to be able to relate on the, 13 Pro, whatever, it doesn't matter. Most of the iPhones are really consistent, and that's just something you don't find on the Android land. It's Samsung amongst Samsungs are consistent, Pixels amongst Pixels are consistent. Maybe future more nothing phones are going to be more consistent amongst nothing phones. It's just they're all over the place. So there's just so many different types. It's just not as a consistent of a feel as the iPhone. So these are 10 things the iPhone still does better. Maybe these will change in the future. I'm watching the evolution of Android, and it's really progressing quite far. They have really great values now, really awesome high-enders that are definitely better than some iPhones in terms of pure spec sheet. Maybe not in the chip, the A series, but the cameras and all that stuff are arguably competitive. The iPhone still, Apple really spends a lot in research and development, and you can see that they're still holding the crown in a lot of areas of the smartphone. So let me know if you disagree or agree with this video by leaving it a thumbs up down below, or leaving your comment, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.